we go. It is time.
It is
Super Bowl
time.
Sunday. What, 3.5 days away? 4 days
Three and a
away
half.
till kickoff.
Jeez.
I mean,
I've
kicks
never
off
been
at,
so.
we're almost exactly, 4 days away from kickoff, 6:30 on Sunday, right?
72
3 days,
hours.
72
72 hours.
hours.
72 hours and some change. Yeah,
I don't
he's
know.
not the
I
math
went to
guy.
public school. I can't do math.
I went to public school. I can do math.
Hmm. You got
I guess you went to rural
better
PA, so
schools out there in the city. Well, let's start off with the biggest news of the day. Orioles are bringing back the all orange uniforms, and I
I
can't
was
wait
just
for
like,
it.
what are you talking about?
That is the biggest news of the day. Yes.
All
Yep.
right,
I
let's
needed
move
to get that
on.
in there. Can't wait for
Nobody
that.
cares. Like,
All
you
right.
care, but unbelievable.
Jump to the Super Bowl here. How do you feel this is going to play out? Let's just do it that way.
I don't know. Dude. Philly matches up very well against the Chiefs, like extremely well. They have the best defensive line money can buy. They have the most depth on a team I've seen at every position almost, and except quarterback, but we're not going to get into that. And then you go beyond that, and your offense has been humming. Saquon has been the most electric player on the field in all of football this season. And somehow I still just feel like it's not enough. It doesn't matter how much better of a team you've constructed, how good you may match up against the Chiefs. It's just you're playing the juggernaut that is. So how are you going to take that down? Because I want to see it happen. My body needs to see it happen. Because if I have to hear a three-peat Kansas City Chiefs, I might just stop watching football. Because there's no way I can live that again. I'd really this is the first year going into the Super Bowl. I don't know how it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I
No,
don't
I
really
feel
have
you.
full direct thoughts. It's like a lot of emotions that I have to take out of it. So
Fair enough.
taking away my hatred for this team and wanting to see Saquon win a Super Bowl, it comes down to the Chiefs have the best quarterback and the best head coach duo potentially ever. Potentially.
Mm.
Because I mean it's hard to go up against Belichick and Brady in their
Mm.
20-year regime together almost. So outside of that, they've been like the best duo of all time. I mean, five for sure, because then you got Chuck Noll, Bradshaw, other guys in there that haven't been as prolific as those two, but it's going to be tough. I think we're going to know a lot by the end of the first quarter, kind of the trajectory of this game. Can Kansas City's defensive line withhold Saquon? If they can, they have a pretty good chance of running away with this game. If they can't, it's going to be close throughout the
Mm.
game. They both have good defenses. I'm curious to see who Trent McDuffie lines up against. If he's going to be more of the one-on-one with AJ Brown and try to outmuscle him, or if he's going to go up against Devontae, who's more of the technician. So that's interesting. And then you have Nick Bolton against Dallas Goedert, who Dallas Goedert has had his big games and he's had his not so big games. And you kind of need him to have the biggest game of his career on Sunday.
Yeah. No, that was going to be my X factor in this game. So just face value. A lot of the same thoughts that you had there too. Like if there is a team that's built to beat the Chiefs in this spot, it is the Eagles. The way that
Oh,
they've kind of put all this
100%.
together, they've drafted so unbelievably well. And I was just gonna say, yeah, Dallas Goedert's gonna be the biggest X factor in this game. The Chiefs against the tight end that's the
Yeah.
one spot on that defense that's they can get exposed really. So if they use him early and often, I think that is huge for them and just open things up for AJ Brown and Devontae on the outside there.
Yeah.
I don't expect Saquon to have that insane game
I
that
mean,
he might be capable of doing just because of the defense, but I also don't think they're going to hold him to 60 yards either.
yeah, I mean, Saquon is going to be the biggest X factor in this game. And
I just
I've
think the
had
Chiefs
to
defense is good enough to kind of
sure, but I also
mitigate.
thought that with the Rams, and they didn't mitigate shit.
That's
It
fair.
was, and they had faced him, so they knew what they were going up against. And Saquon not
Mhm.
only did what he did, he doubled down. He stomped them out. So it's like, okay, what are
Fair
we
enough.
actually doing then?
That's true. But like for me, it's one, I think this is going to be a high scoring game,
Okay. It
despite
was
how
it
good
was it
these
was pretty
defenses.
decently high scoring last time.
Yeah, what was it, like 35-32 or something like that? I think both
It was
teams get to the
close.
30s again. It was it was something like that. Yeah. That's kind of around what I'm expecting this time too. I think there is going to be a lot of points between the Chiefs being able to move the ball quickly, even against that Eagles defense, especially with Hollywood Brown being back. He's kind of like completed their passing game since he's been back. Everybody's kind of got like specific roles now,
Yeah.
and it looks more cohesive now than it did a month ago. That helps. Eagles will be able to score in some fashion, I think, fairly quickly, whether it's, again, Saquon just kind of randomly busting off a 45 yarder at some point in time just because he gets loose and into space and makes
Yeah.
something happen there, or, just the random deep ball to AJ Brown. Jalen Hurts will be able to get out of the pocket like he did, honestly, in that first Super Bowl too, and run pretty well too in open space.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think this is. I'm on the Chiefs on this one again. I think the three-peat is almost. It
Gross.
feels inevitable
Gross. But yeah, I
right
mean, I'm
now
not
because it's like there's so many things.
disagreeing.
It's like, yeah, if you put up the team statistics side by side, it's like the Eagles are topping them in every single category. It's just like, okay, are the Chiefs that good? It's like they're gonna find a way to win this game. Like when they need to, backs against the wall, they figure stuff out. Like
Yeah, and
it just kind of
that's
is how
kind
it
of like,
happens. Also, Patrick Mahomes is, I think it's either 8-0 or 9-0 against Vic Fangio defenses.
oh, that's great.
Yeah, and plays
And
very well against that.
maybe if Vic steps down like Saturday.
Maybe, yeah, who knows? And I think it's too with the Eagles. I mean, yes, they can generate pressure with that front four, but you're gonna have to blitz Mahomes at some point. I mean, that's how
Yeah.
the Bucks beat up on him, was, a mix of a bad line and they were bringing pressure. If you just let him kind of stand back there and pick you apart, you don't have a chance. Vic Fangio is not a blitzing coordinator.
Yeah.
He blitzes at like the lowest rate in the league and just relies on, having a good front four, which they do have, but your best pass rusher is on the interior of that D line, and that's where Kansas City's strongest is the
Yeah.
interior of their O line there. So I think it'll be a good game. I think it's going to be a competitive game. I think it will come down to the last few minutes of this game, but that's a recipe for a Chiefs win.
Always is. If you don't blow
Yeah.
them out, you're not winning that game.
Right.
So I did do a little bit of research here into Kansas City against run offenses, and they were very strong at the start of the season per se, and then
Mhm.
as of late they've been letting up more and more yards to opposing offenses. They've let up one 100-yard game on the season to one specific player. Like as a whole, they've let up 100 yards against opposing teams, but
Yeah, they've
one
only given up
guy.
100-yard rusher. Yeah.
Do you know who it is?
I don't remember who it was, but I do remember that there was only one.
It was week 1.
Oh, was it Derrick Henry?
It was Lamar Jackson.
Oh, shit. Yeah, that's right. I did forget about that. That's right. Yeah, because I was going to say it wasn't Derrick Henry because I knew listening to Nick Wright, he was just like, yeah, not even Derrick Henry ran for 100 yards. That's right. I forgot.
Yeah. The closest was the Steelers actually in week 17.
Mhm.
Both Najee and Jalen Warren had 70 yards. I
Damn.
think there might have been a couple 80-yard rushers, but that was like the second worst damage was the Steelers, from what I looked.
No, that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, that bodes well for Jalen Hurts. Like I said, I think Jalen Hurts is going to play really well in this game, mainly because in
He needs
conference
to.
championship. Well, not only does he need to, but also like his career. I mean, it's 3 game sample size now, but
Yeah.
NFC Championship games and Super Bowl, he's averaging, like I saw, it was like 68%, like 250, runs the ball well. I think he's only thrown one pick or has one turnover in those games too, and I think it was the fumble in the Super Bowl. Like he plays really well in these big spots, so do give him a lot of credit for that. But I just,
Yeah.
I also don't feel like it's going to be enough.
It's just, I don't know. It's just like trying to find the right words to like describe this is odd to do and to like predict. Like typically, like with all the other games that we've talked about, I've been able to like predict and project, and like this one
Mm.
is a little bit more difficult. We haven't seen them play each other this year. Back. So when was the last time we did see them play each other? Was
Was
it
Super
Super
Bowl?
Bowl
I'm
two
pretty
years
sure it
ago?
was the Super Bowl 2 years
I'm
ago.
pretty
Or
sure it
no,
was too.
no, they played last year, and Nick Sirianni was talking shit, and then they followed that up by going 1-5 down the stretch.
So Philly beat them last year.
Philly beat them last year, and then that was because that was the game where in the tunnel, Nick Sirianni was just like screaming and talking shit, like I don't want to hear
Oh,
you guys
that's
say
right.
anything else, and blah blah blah. And then that was when they started that, like they started to fall apart. Then
You're right. I remember that now.
yeah,
What was this? I mean, none of these teams look the same as they did last year. Well,
no, that's
the
also true.
Chiefs look similar enough,
Yeah,
but the
no, I
Eagles
agree with
don't.
that. Yeah, no, I like I said, like this one, I feel very confident in like seeing how it can play out. Like I feel the opposite of you, like feeling like you're struggling to try to like figure out what this game looks like. I feel like I have a very good read on this game.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm glad you do because I just I want to. I definitely want to have a better read. And
That's fair.
I think your read is just looking over kind of what's gone Kansas City's
Hmm.
way these last few years. And I think part of my issue with it is, well, we've kind of like switched positions. Typically, it's you leaning into the what ifs and me leaning into, well, this is the past. This is what
That's fair.
happens every time. And like, I just cannot wrap my head around it with the Chiefs. I never have.
That's fair. I mean, like, so, and that's my thing with it too. With this game, it's just like, okay, look at the games that the Chiefs have lost in the playoffs.
Yeah.
They've lost 3 times in the playoffs with Patrick Mahomes. The first
Tom
one
Brady
to Tom Brady in overtime. Like,
duking it out.
what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do with that? I mean, that's just kind
Yeah.
of how that goes. Then again, in the Super Bowl to Tom Brady and the Bucks, when they lost all of their offensive line, it wasn't very good that year to begin with, and then everybody got hurt, and then the Bucks just proceeded to beat them into the ground. And honestly, that was one of the most insane games I feel like I've ever seen Patrick Mahomes play.
Yeah.
Just like
Despite
some of
all
the
of it.
stuff you yes, like I mean, obviously the numbers weren't there and everything like that, but like I think that was the first time I watched him and went, "Oh my God."
Yeah.
Like he is doing everything he can to try to stay in this game. And it just, he couldn't get anything to go his way in that. And then they lost to the Bengals and in the AFC Championship game
And that was
where
close.
it went to overtime and
Yeah.
Mahomes literally had the worst half of football he's ever had in his career in the second half of that game. Completely fell apart.
You're just probably not going to see that.
Exactly. Like the odds
Barring
of you
Philly's
getting him to just fall apart for a half, for an entire
yeah,
half of football,
low.
I don't, yeah, I don't think you're going to see that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
like it was just a
barring
meltdown.
Philly really feeling and figuring out Kansas City's offense and how it's going to go, you're going to have there's going to be points of struggle. Like it's just going
Yeah,
to happen, and it's going to
yeah,
be annoying because I mean I saw it when they beat Buffalo 2 weeks ago. It was Buffalo's methodical driving down the field, play after play, and then Kansas City just drives down the field in a minute and a half if they wanted to. But they can also be methodical. They can switch up tempo. And very few teams can do that. It's you playing the same tempo the entire game. Where Kansas City, if they want to be methodical, they're methodical in their play calling. They slow up the drive. They can take 9 minutes. But if they really want to, they can run their 2 minute offense out there in the middle of the third quarter and score
and
with
be down the
ease.
field in 45 seconds.
Yeah, it's
Like you
disturbing.
blink and they're scoring. Yeah. Like it's insane. I mean, that's what you get with Andy Reid. Like he's just so insanely smart. Yeah, like I mean, if you're the Eagles, you have to like create your own luck.
Exactly. You need so I mean, first and foremost, you need to create turnovers in this game. It needs to happen. It needs to happen
Yeah.
early, and it needs to happen at least two more times in this game, and you need to score off those turnovers. There is nothing else to it. If you don't do that, you're not winning this game.
Yeah, no, it has to look like the 2018 Super Bowl against the
Yeah.
Patriots. That's
Yeah.
what it has to look like. You have to be in your bag.
You
The
have to
between
be
the
perfect.
Philly special, Brandon Graham strip sack, like you have to be doing anything and everything in this game. Like be really like a timely blitz from Vic
Yeah.
Fangio on a third down somewhere or on a second down even,
Yeah.
just to kind of catch them off guard and put them in a 3rd and 14 if you can. Like it's got to be. You have to be creative. You have to be aggressive on defense. Like especially in the secondary, you have to be flying around and risk a penalty at some point in time in this game because the risk reward
Exactly.
there is insane. Because if you don't make that play, you don't have a chance to win that game. But if you have a chance to make a play on a ball where it's either a pick or a flag, like at least you tried. It's got to be everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's most of what I
It's
have to
just
say about that.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree. I think part of this game comes to who's holding the ball at the 2-minute warning.
Probably whoever has the ball last. Let's be real.
Well, I mean, in most football games, that's how it goes. So
Yeah,
that's
no,
why I
but
was trying to go away
okay,
from
but the going 2-minute warning. I mean, we've seen the Chiefs score
it.
with
True,
13 seconds.
true. I mean, I still
So
remember when Buffalo had the lead with 6 seconds left. I was like, well, if Josh Allen gets to go to the Super Bowl, I'm going to bed. Woke up the next morning, saw the Chiefs won, and I
that was the
shit my
divisional
pants.
round. That wasn't even the AFC Championship game.
I thought it was the championship game.
No,
Was that
because
to
then
go
the
play
Chiefs.
Cincy?
Yeah, and then that was the year the Chiefs lost.
Well, that's
Wild game. Wild game. Now, this is a question I wanted to pose to you. I
okay.
don't know if you're going to love it or hate it. Chiefs do win this. Where do we go with the GOAT conversation, not only with Mahomes, but with also Andy Reid?
All right. So with GOAT, it's such like a stupid ass like statement. Like because you can have multiple greats. And so like I
Yeah,
hate
you have multiple greats, but
singularity.
who's the greatest of all?
So it's still Brady. It just still is. Like
Okay.
Mahomes is on track to demolish that, of course.
Okay.
But like right now in this moment, even if he still wins on Sunday doing something Brady has never done, it's still Brady.
Okay.
Ask me again in 3 years.
Okay.
But as of regardless, I mean, granted, that's 4 Super Bowls for Mahomes in his
In
first
7 years.
8 years, but 7 years.
7 years of playing.
Yeah,
Nobody counts his rookie year.
no, which is absurd.
Completely fair.
Yeah, but talk to me again in three years. Because to be fair, Brady proved to me that he was the GOAT, if that's how we want to fucking call it, when he left New England, went to Tampa, and immediately won a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
The team was
that's
not
fair.
good the year before, and he took them to the Super Bowl.
I'll
No
give you that.
questions. That is when I was just like, yeah, Brady's the GOAT. There's no quarterback better than him.
That's fair. I will say I'll be with you on that in terms of the quarterback side of this, that I will still say Brady. But
Again, ask me in 3 years, that answer can
yeah,
change.
no. I'm agreeing with that. Yeah, I'll agree with that.
I didn't say anything about Andy Reid.
No,
Not what I
we'll
said.
do.
Yeah.
I'll get my thoughts out on this, and then we'll do Andy Reid. So I agree that I think it will still be Brady, but I will listen to arguments for Mahomes.
Yeah. I'm listening.
I'm not-
I'm perked.
I'm not shutting you down. Like I think I will allow it to be a valid thought.
Yeah.
I understand it. If you can, yeah, you bring the argument to me. I'm okay with that. I'm not going to get mad about it
Yeah.
or be like,
I'm not gonna
I don't know
reject
how you can say that. Yes, exactly. But I will say with the three-peat, I don't think he has, like, I think at that point, he does not need to get to 7. I think if he gets to 5, I think it becomes okay for
That's
it to be unanimous.
that's one more.
Yeah, I know. I understand
Uh,
that. And I think if you get to 5 with a three-peat, I think I'm pretty sure my mind would shift. You know what I mean? Like, it's like
okay,
the
here
LeBron
it is.
Jordan thing because it's like the
Here,
6 or
no, no,
6 and blah, blah, he only has 4. I
got it.
don't think you need to match the number of them
I got it. I got it.
with the three-peat. I think the three-peat counts for a couple,
I got it.
honestly.
So if he three-peats and then he also has an undefeated season, I'll absolutely lose my mind and I'll just go jump off a cliff
I
so
think the
quick.
NFL's over at that point. This guy won the
You just
NFL.
you make
You
him retire. You
beat the
need him to
game.
retire because
Yes.
nobody's watching football anymore.
Right.
Nobody cares.
Ship him to the CFL. He can do it there. But
Well, I also so here's the thing. I spent some time in the last few days looking at Brady's career arc, just
Mhm.
a little bit. So his first 7, 8 years, similar to Mahomes, or I think his was more like 6. He
Well,
was
I was going
fair,
to say Brady. I think you could chop up into 3 different segments,
yeah.
mainly
So
because
it
it's
was
just
his
that
first,
fucking long. But
yeah, his first like 6, 7 years in the league. Patriots were dominant, went to almost every Super Bowl, won 3 of them. Then from 2005 to 2015, they did not win a Super Bowl. They went to 2,
right.
lost both of them to the Giants. And then from 2016 to 2000 and until he retired 2023, he won 3 more, 4 more Super Bowls. So it's kind of in that realm. Maybe we're gonna get a break. Maybe
History tells you that.
that's
But my thing is,
history tells
do you think there's going to be a 10-year gap?
no, because if there's a 10-year gap, Mahomes going to be retired at that end of that gap.
Well, that too. But like, well,
Because
we thought that about Brady
unfortunately,
too. But like,
well,
and then
no,
he played for
Brady.
7 more
The
years.
difference is Brady was able to condition himself to a pinpoint like anomaly
Yeah, for
to keep
exactly
himself
what
as
he was doing.
healthy as
Yes.
possible. Whereas Mahomes isn't
And they
in that
play
realm.
different styles too. He's
Yeah,
moving around a lot
exactly.
more. Brady just stood back there and threw darts for 22
Exactly.
years.
So different play styles. Mahomes doesn't necessarily project to that longevity as
Hmm.
Brady. You're probably looking at a late B's kind of retirement. I could be dead wrong. I don't know. That's a decade from now. I don't have those numbers or that ability to foresee the future. But I'm not saying it needs to be 10 years. Give me 3 years, just a
Yeah,
3 year
just
break.
something. Yeah,
And then maybe the next time you're in the Super Bowl, I'll want to root for you because at the end I wanted
yeah,
to root for Brady.
yeah. By the end of it, I was on Brady's side with that.
Well,
And then also with Brady too,
sometimes.
like even just when you talk about the career arc and like him becoming uh the greatest to ever do it kind of thing, that wasn't the case until Manning retired. Like that was a legit debate between okay, Manning or Brady, Manning or Brady. You can go back and forth. Manning had all the
Because
MVPs.
yeah,
Brady had more Super Bowls and blah blah blah. And then when Manning retired, Brady played 7 more years and won 4 more Super Bowls, and then just completely buried that argument. Like there is no Brady Manning right now.
no,
That's the other part of it is that like Mahomes is like lapping everybody at this point.
yeah,
And that's where I go. I don't think he's going to need to get to 7.
yeah.
I don't think
Now,
that's going to, I don't think that's necessary for him to be like, to have that conversation or be unanimous or, like widely accepted as the best to ever do it.
here's my question: when do you think Andy Reid retires? I guess this also shifts into your portion of the Andy Reid question. When do you think
Yeah.
he retires?
I think it
Because
depends.
all right, well let's take a peek. How old
I,
is Andy Reid?
if he's pushing 70, I think he's like
He's
66,
he's
66.
66. He turned 67 in March,
Yeah. So
like
I do think he's got years
mid-March.
left.
Yeah,
I'll frame it this way. I would not be shocked if he retired after a three-peat just because.
I think he came out and said that he wouldn't, but that
I
would be
don't
like
think
the
I
perfect
wouldn't be
time to retire.
shocked if he did it. I don't think he will because
No,
I think he's got what Belichick had going on, and now Belichick sees what's going on. And I think this is again why Belichick took the college job. Is I think Andy Reid sees Shula's record and knows if I coach for 5 years, I can get that.
Yeah.
And it's not like Belichick going, that there was that like competitive side of him where he wanted that record, but also if he retired right after that, it's just like, okay, well, Reid coaches for 5 more years. He's breaking my record. I'll hold it for an hour,
3
basically.
seconds.
Yeah, kind of like the passing yards where Drew Brees had it for 3 weeks and then Brady took it from him again.
Yeah.
Like I think that might be sitting there because let me pull that up.
Yeah. What's the difference?
Coach wins, leaders, regular season wins.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shula's got 328. Andy Reid has 273.
I mean, he's hitting it. So
He's
what is that?
55. Well, and they average 12 wins with Mahomes.
That's what I was gonna do.
So that puts you at 4 years gets you to 48, and then he needs
A half a season.
4 more wins after that. Yeah, so
Mhm.
like I said, like 5 years he
7.
can take that.
He'll need 7 more wins after that. Yeah.
Yes,
So
7
to
wins.
tie, 7 to tie, 8 to win. So another
So
half
that's what I'm
season,
saying.
full season.
5 years. 5 years he coaches.
But
He retires at 72. I mean, Pete Carroll's like fucking 94, and he's still trying to coach.
He's 73.
Whatever it is, I don't know. He feels older. I mean, now
Yeah.
I don't think Andy Reid is going to be that guy that coaches into his mid to late 70s either,
No.
because he loves his Kansas City barbecue. Not sure what
Clearly.
73 is going to look like on him. Let's just be honest.
Yeah.
But I think that's there. And like, but again, even so, you go 5 years of Andy Reid and Mahomes together. I mean,
Okay.
even
well,
if they
here's-
don't win more, I think
Yeah.
you look at that and just go, Jesus Christ, like this dude
Well,
is
let me pose you this because I'm not.
in a different world.
I haven't fully answered anything regarding Reid. Who do you see as the GOAT head coach of all time?
Right now,
Yeah.
I
That would would be posing against Reid in this question. Opposed.
wait. So like, who is? Well, we know who it's between. The coaches.
Who do you think it's Reid and Shula? Is that your argument?
No, it's Reid and
Oh,
Belichick.
Belichick. Okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to clarify.
Yeah. I personally, even right now, I think I lean Andy Reid.
So do
I think
So
this win solidifies that, and then I think it's a more widely accepted thing for so many reasons.
I think it's Reid because he's done it with 2 different teams in 2 different places.
And he's done it. He's worked with every quarterback you've given him.
And to be fair, he did not do it in Philly. He did not win in Philly. But he did go to a Super Bowl in Philly. He did make strides there.
Mm-hmm. With Donovan McNabb, too.
With Dean Abb, love that man. Whereas Belichick's only done it with Brady. And the second Brady leaves, they look like a disaster. Granted,
Yes.
they went to the playoffs rookie season
He's
with Mac
made-
Jones.
Yeah, he has 2 playoff appearances without Tom Brady in his career.
Yeah. Even is that head coach only? I guess he did
As a head
the Browns,
coach.
so yeah.
As a
So-
head coach, yep.
Definitely.
Meanwhile,
definitely
Andy
not
Reid
Brady.
has 13 playoff seasons without Mahomes, or 13 or more. I forgot how many it is. It's way more.
which is-
He's got a winning
which is
record.
good.
Belichick's got a losing record without Brady. Like,
I mean, it's clear that one has a better knowledge of play calling than the other one. And one lets his GM actually be a GM.
also true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's kind of why I lean Reid. So I get the
And
argument.
the
for
coaching
Brady.
trees. Honestly, I'm going to throw this out there too. I think the coaching trees.
So
I think that
partially,
matters.
So partially, yes. So I think a coaching tree matters if that coach stayed with you the entire time. I don't think it matters if you hire a up and coming guy from somebody else and then claim him and then he leaves. That's not your coach anymore.
I think that does count because, like, when you have guys that leave Andy Reid and then they go on to other places and are successful at varying levels.
Well, yes,
as a head coach,
I'm saying
whereas
that
Belichick, on the flip side, anybody that worked under him has completely flopped. as a head coach. Brian Flores, Dan Patricia, Mike McDaniel,
Mike McDaniel,
who or
Mike
not
McDaniel,
Mike McDaniel, Josh
Josh.
McDaniels. Sorry,
I
I don't
was
know.
like,
They all blend together.
I
Sorry.
mean, I guess
I
it's
mean,
just
you can go down through the
philosophy.
list. Like Bill O'Brien was like okay in Houston, but like
I mean, he had his success at Penn State. That's where he had his success at.
yeah, and even not really there.
I
Better
mean,
team now
enough
than
to
they
get
were
it.
then.
Well, I think that's more so just the way college football is now, more so than
That's
coaching.
fair, but like
Because I
even
mean, if
still,
you ask any Penn State fan, they're gonna tell you they like Bill O'Brien much more than James Frank.
I don't know. James Franklin's a better recruiter. I don't know. I don't want to talk about college coaches right now. It's gonna make my head hurt. But I do think that that matters because it's just like, okay, what did you provide them?
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I
Belichick
mean,
was like, we're
I think
doing it this way. This is the way we do things. And then these guys tried to emulate that, and then it crashes and burns.
I think
Whereas
to an
Andy Reid,
extent,
like, is much more of a teacher.
yeah, I think it matters to an extent, but also like sometimes it doesn't matter at all. Like you can like some guy can go get hired from your coaching tree and be there for 3 years, have some success, but also not enough. So it's just
Well, I
like,
mean, Doug Peterson won a Super Bowl
yeah, that's
and
fair.
then got fired from Philly and then completely flamed out in Jacksonville. But like, that's what I'm saying. It's just like, like Andy Reid can hang his hat on the fact that he's taught some really good coaches in this league or
Oh,
successful
for sure.
coaches.
Yeah,
Again,
yeah,
at varying
definitely.
levels, and but also none of them became him. You know what I
No,
mean?
no.
So
Which is
like,
like tough.
there's that. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Coaching trees is such like a weird topic because of how differently everybody views them. Like for me, like I could give two shits about a coaching tree.
Well, I think they matter when we're talking about coaches. But anyway, yeah. Long story short, Andy Reid, I think, officially becomes the greatest coach of all time if they win on Sunday, and
I mean,
Mahomes makes
yeah,
his path to becoming the best quarterback of all time much easier with a win on
yeah.
Sunday. This is,
I
I'll
I
put it that way.
I do just want to like learn if it is one better than the other. If Reed is what's making Mahomes great, or if Mahomes is making Reed great. Yes, I get the argument. Well, they're both making each other great. Sure, that's a cop out. But you clearly saw Brady left New England and New England was no longer great. They were a laughing stock in the league. So it's just like clearly somebody's leaning some
Well,
way.
I think it's so we've never seen Mahomes without Reed, but we've seen Reed without Mahomes.
Correct.
So, I mean, when you put the two of them
But
together,
but
it's
Reed without Mahomes never won a Super Bowl.
what that, yeah, and that's
Yeah.
where I'm kind of at with it. Is like, I
Yeah.
think they're both still great.
Yeah, they're both still
I
great in their
think
own right, but Mahomes, I think, takes Reed to that next level.
for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But I think Reed also is taking, especially, the first couple years of Mahomes, where you could kind of see it. Mahomes will get a little squirrely with
Yeah,
his footwork, his delivery for a couple games. And then it
sure,
was like Andy Reid would kind of rein it all back in, simplify everything. And then, they'd get back on track.
sure. You know whose fault this all is?
Buffalo?
Alex Smith.
I don't know. I was going to say Buffalo because
They traded
that's
with.
with the Chiefs for that pick.
Sure. Yeah, but you're never gonna know. Like you're just not. They could
Well,
have stayed put,
true, but like,
drafted Mahomes, and then Buffalo sucks ass with him. It doesn't matter. We're talking about what ifs. The true cause of this is Alex Smith not being good enough to stay in Kansas City. That's the problem that we're overlooking here. And
fair
I
enough.
loved Alex Smith. Big
Yeah,
Alex
good
Smith fan.
quarterback.
Good guy. Truly. Number one pick
Hmm.
in 2003. Struggled early on in his career, found his footing on a second contract, and then got taken over by Cap of all people, who I still will today believe that he was just not that great of a quarterback.
That's fair.
I've always kind of like fostered that opinion.
Entirely fair.
Then gets traded to Kansas City, has success in Kansas City, and then gets looked over again for a younger quarterback.
Yeah.
I feel so bad for that man, but
I
it
mean, you
is his
feel
fault.
better that knowing that the second one you got looked over for wasn't Patrick Mahomes.
Mahomes, yeah,
Yeah.
sure, but
You do feel like, I'll lose my job to that guy. That's fine. I guess I'll take that
oh,
one.
still doesn't
I
make
get
me
it.
feel good. You
I mean,
asshole.
it
You
sucks.
just needed to make one Super Bowl. Just one. And he couldn't beat
Hmm?
the freaking Steelers in the playoffs. Couldn't.
Or the Titans. He couldn't beat Marcus Mariota.
Like, what a joke
Marcus Mariota threw a touchdown pass to himself
in that
against the
game. I
Chiefs in
know.
the playoffs.
I know.
I just once again want to just like that's a thing that happened. I don't know. I still blame the Bills.
I blame them all.
Yeah.
It's
Also, I mean, I guess we could. I didn't address this yesterday when we did this, but not the Bills getting rules changed for them again.
now what?
The electronic yardage marker thing.
They've been talking about doing that for years. It's not just the Bills.
I'm just saying
Shut
they were
up.
talking about the
No, shut
overtime
up.
stuff. They were
Shut
talking
up.
about the overtime stuff there
The
for a
overtime,
while.
yes.
And then the Bills lose, and then the Bills lose in overtime.
Okay,
And now we
okay.
got to cater to Josh Allen and the Bills, and now we're doing
You
it
are such
again
a
because they
hater.
hurt
That's
the
what you are. You are
Bills.
such a hater because
Just
Josh Allen.
saying.
You're
just
such a
saying.
Josh Allen hater.
I'm just saying, there's been weird
You
stuff that have
are-
happened with other teams,
You are
but
part of
when
the
it
number
happens
one
to the
Josh Allen
Bills, then
hater
we
club.
have to have
Oh,
a whole
my God.
conversation about it, and then
If
the
it really-
NFL
no,
says,
no, no.
"We're sorry, Buffalo. Let's make this better for you."
If it really was like all for the Bills and shit, don't you think they'd be in the fucking Super Bowl right now? Let's back off.
I'm just saying.
No.
I'm just
You're not
saying.
just saying.
I'm just saying.
You're Josh Allen's number
Just
one
saying.
hater. That's what
I'm
you
just
are.
saying.
You're not.
I'm just making points here.
That is something every fan in the NFL has been bitching about for years.
It's just the timelines are kind of matching up here. It's just like
No.
something happens to the Bill. There's a discussion. There's a discussion about the rule change going on over here, and then
Oh my God.
and then, that honestly that might be the fastest way to get rid of the tush push in the NFL. If the Bills can finally get to the Super Bowl, they play the Eagles and then they lose at the end of the game because Jalen Hurts punches it in underneath everybody, like kind of at the gun. We might be done with the tush push after that.
You're the
Honestly.
worst. All right,
I'm
let's
move
on.
looking out for the good of the league in
let's,
this.
Let's move on. I've never seen somebody hate a team so much.
I don't hate the Bills. I
Oh,
don't
that's
hate
right. No,
them.
you just hate Josh Allen. For
I
no
don't hate Josh
reason at all.
Allen. I don't hate Josh Allen. I like Josh Allen. I think he does
Bro,
great
you're
on their
trying to
social
convince
media.
Me or you?
I think the Bills'
Your
social media team
inflection
is
in your
great with
voice
him.
is Yeah, the social media team is great, but you
Yeah,
sound like
and I think he's very funny on
your
there. Yeah.
inflection is the biggest lie. Yeah, you fucking liar.
I just want to blame Buffalo Bills Twitter for the last 6 weeks of the year doing this to me because I really didn't have a problem with the Bills, and then all of that shit started, and it upset me.
To be fair, you've kind of hated on Josh Allen just about all season, so
I haven't hated on him.
there it is again.
I don't hate on him. I just think that there's, this, and he proved me wrong this year.
Mm-hmm.
The roller coaster that is Josh Allen, great 1 week, 4 turnovers the next, back to being insane, 2 turnovers. Like, that wasn't him this year, and I give him a lot of credit. And didn't I say at the beginning of the year, this is my favorite version of the Bills? I just think there's going to be something that happens that, they're not going to get over the hump again. That's it. I picked them to win the division.
That's great. So did everybody else.
No, everybody was picking the Jets were favored in that division.
Now, everybody with half a brain picked the Bills.
Sorry about it, Mike Greenberg. Anyway, let's get into some bets here.
Yeah.
Some gambling stuff just for
let's
fun.
do these picks.
So right now we're looking at it's a 1.5 point spread. Chiefs favored.
No, that's it.
That's it. So not a whole lot to work with there.
That's a coin flip, man.
It's a coin flip, pretty much. But I mean, I would take the Chiefs minus 1.5.
I just wouldn't take either.
That's fair. If gun to my head.
Sure.
It's not going to be a bet that I make. I don't believe.
That's a bad.
Probably
bet.
not. Probably not.
No, you're a degenerate. You're gonna make it.
Probably. But the other one, total's at 48.5. I already said I'm
You're
crushing
slamming
the
the
over
over.
on this. I am hammering
I mean,
the
you just look at the history of look at the history of the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. They always score a lot, and the games are always competitive. You look at their last 2 years in the Super Bowl. That's how it's been.
Yeah, I think all of their Super Bowls have
50
been
points.
over 50 points, I think.
Yeah.
The only one that
Even
might not have been against the Bucks
when they lost.
and that was like 38-10 or something like that, and they still
Let me
got close to 50. So I definitely like the over there,
yeah, it was 31-9.
31-9. So okay,
Close, close. But yeah, I like the over too. I think that's pretty safe.
yeah. Outside of that, some of the player props I like in this one. Jalen Hurts. Oh, it actually just went down too. Jalen Hurts passing yards is set at 212.5, and I like the over there.
Do you? I don't know if I
I
do.
do
That's a
because
lot. That's a lot for a guy that doesn't throw a lot. And
his
they
average
haven't
is
had him.
189.3. I think that between the Chiefs kind of managing Saquon to an extent is going to force him to throw the ball a little bit more. And I think it's going to be a lot of like 12, 13 yards to Dallas Goedert, and then he'll break one off at some point. And then you add in, I think Devontae plays very well in this game. Like, I think you can get to 125 just on Devontae and Goddard.
Maybe. I mean, I'm just looking at like his season and when he's thrown over 150 yards. Shit, dude, it doesn't happen often.
No, it doesn't. But again, I think there's going to be a lot of points in this, and again, he plays well in these spots. Again, 3 games and conference championships and Super Bowls, and
Yeah.
he plays well.
Yeah, I
Dude
mean, he's
locks in.
definitely a playoff performer, which big benefit to him. 311 is his season mark against the Saints. Threw for 311. Yeah, so he went over
And that was
200 yards.
wait, pull up that box score because
It
I
was
think that was a big
311, no
yeah, but
touchdowns, one pick.
no, I want you to pull up Dallas Goddard in that game because Goddard had like a 65-yarder in the game at one point. Set up a field goal, I'm pretty sure, or set up. I think no, I think they did. Saquon, I think, scored on that possession then too.
Um, yeah, he had a long of 61. Goddard. He was the go-to in that guy. 10 for 170. I'm not
And I
doubting
think it,
that.
I think it's a big Dallas Goddard day.
And Saquon went buck 47 and 2.
Yeah,
I
I
mean, I
think.
definitely agree. I mean, if you get Goddard going, I think you probably have a great chance at winning this game. If you're throwing the
Hmm.
ball over the middle, hitting Slimmy on the outside, and letting AJ Brown get you your rack that you need.
I feel like this isn't going to be a huge AJ Brown game because I feel like he's going to garner a lot of attention.
I hope he does because I mean, if Trent McDuffie's on him, which that's where you assume your number one
I think you
corner is going to
still
be.
need a second. I still think you need a second guy like over there with him just because of how
Sure,
physical AJ Brown is.
I'm not doubting that. I'm just saying like that's where if you get a lot of attention over there, have Trent McDuffie and then Justin Reed shadowing even more.
Hmm.
Not shadowing because McDuffie's shadowing, but Justin Reed making sure you have him in a zone over the top.
Yes, just having that
You're
extra
getting a
body there.
lot of one-on-ones everywhere else.
Yeah, and I like that a lot for Devontae. Devontae's very good at finding open spaces, and his footwork is so good
Yeah,
that he will get open. And when Hurts needs to kind of get into a rhythm or, in crucial spots, he looks to Devontae. When they're closing games out and everything like that, Devontae's his guy because Devontae gets open.
yeah. You know what? Like if you go back and you listen to this entire podcast, we're just saying a lot of positive things about the Eagles, and then
Hmm.
on the opposite side, you're like, yeah, but it's the Chiefs, they're gonna win. It's just like it's crazy to
Yeah,
like analyze this. It's so
pretty
dumb.
much.
All right,
Which,
well, what other
speaking of
props are
which, let's
there?
go. We'll just, keep going with good things about the Eagles here. We just kind of pretty much said it too, but Goddard's line is at 52.5. I will take
You're
the
hitting
over.
that over.
I'm hitting that over big time. And we just kind of did all that. Again, I mean, that's the one hole in this Chiefs defense. And
Yeah,
the Eagles
exactly.
are not scared to just throw the ball to Goddard, as we just talked about, going back to the Saints game. And then this is like, well, whatever. I'll just go through both of these here because they're kind of attached to each other. So I do like the Eagles first half money line at minus 105. It's like a half point spread or whatever, but I like the Eagles in the first half to have a lead. Again, I think this is
I think so. I think
we're
that's pretty fair.
reprinting 2 years ago at this point, having a lead at
So
halftime.
stupid. I hate it.
I know.
I'm gonna swear so much on Sunday.
And then this one I really like too. So first half and full time. So Eagles in the first half, full time. Chiefs it's plus 600,
Okay.
which is I think very solid. Eagles win the first half, Chiefs win the game. That is one that I will be making for sure. And then the last one that I really like, because I feel like this is way, way, way too low. And it's even inflated to like what his line is during the regular season. Mahomes rushing yards is at 29 and a half.
That's a lot.
I don't think so.
You think he's going to clear that?
Yes. Let me just pull it up here for the sake of it.
I think they have it that because of Philly's D-line.
That's fair, but like again, that's all interior pressure.
Yeah, I
So
don't
if the
know.
pocket
We'll
collapses,
see.
he's going to have the outside.
We'll see.
Because his line in the regular season is usually like 11 and a half. But in the
Yeah.
playoffs, it's completely different. Let me just, for the sake of it, it's actually right on it.
Yeah.
His career average is 29 yards
So
a game.
they're
game.
really playing with the line.
Yeah,
So-
they're just playing it. And in 2019, he averaged 45 yards per game.
Yeah. but that was-
2021, 39. Last year, 35.3 yards, rushing yards per game. This year so far, 28 and a half.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. I know Zach
I like
Bond's
it.
going to spy the entire game. So
Yeah. But I mean, even if you go back to the Super Bowl a couple years ago, like that game finished with a Mahomes, 25, 30-yard run?
yeah, but that was at that point the Eagles' one downfall was their linebackers.
That's fair. I'm just
Versus
also
now
saying that, like,
it's not. I get what you're saying. I'm just
Yeah.
saying it's not the exact same.
fair enough. I just expect him to run the ball a little bit.
Yeah, sure. We
Just
expect
because, okay, again,
stupid
like-
shit to happen.
I mean, the way that the Eagles can cover here,
Yeah,
like, it'll just open up some lanes for him to kind of take off and go. But
no, I definitely I get that. I just hate it.
yeah,
That's all.
so those are the big ones that I'm looking at. I don't know. Were there any other ones that you were interested in?
Well, do you want to talk about
Any
the
lines?
fun ones? The fun ones? I don't care about any of that.
All right, yeah, we can do
Talk about
that.
the
So,
coin flip. All right, I'm calling that it's going to be heads.
oh, tails never fails, buddy.
Not in the Super Bowl. Give me
Tails
heads,
never
man.
fails.
We know
All
what
right,
we love
fair
around
enough.
here.
Well, let's just put this on a head-to-head thing here. So, coin toss. I am taking tails.
All right, who's singing the national anthem? Do we have that
Jesus.
information so I can? So
I
I
don't.
can tell
We
you
probably
my
already
line?
have that. We probably already know who's singing the national anthem. Probably. It's
Exactly.
probably
I'm
been
asking
announced.
if you know it.
Oh, if I know it?
Yeah. Well, if we can, let's pull it up. I got it.
No. Who's doing the halftime show? It's Kendrick, right?
Kendrick. Yeah. John Batiste is doing the
Hmm.
national anthem. Do you know
Fair
who
enough.
John Batiste is?
Yeah, he's the WWE guy, right? And a bunch of movies in afterwards too.
100%. Yeah. I think he's gonna go a little long. What's the line?
Oh, I don't know. It doesn't see. DraftKings doesn't give me that. They don't give
Wait.
me the fun ones because they don't want you to be able to just waste all your money
Really? They don't want you to
that
do
easily. Well, here, hold on. Hold on. I'm looking at novelty props here. Yeah, no.
that? There we go. I'd guess like 2 minutes.
Hold on. Hey, how you doing?
How's it going?
Does that mean we have to close down here?
No, we're good.
National anthem over under. All right. Betting odds. Oh yeah, I know who this guy is. I had to see him. I knew the name. I just couldn't put a face to
Yeah.
it. Ooh, the line is at 120.5 seconds.
No shit.
So you were
dude.
right on it. 2 minutes.
Give me that. I'm good.
What are you taking? What are you taking on this?
I guess I'll take the under. I said.
Oh, really?
It's at 120 and a half. I said 2 minutes. That's the under. So I have to.
All right. Fair enough.
So
I'll
you
take
can-
the
you can
over
get
on
the
that
free
one.
Over. He's a tempo guy. He's very up tempo.
I know, but I feel like he also has a little bit of that theatrical in him that he'll drag it out a
Sometimes
little
he
bit
might.
longer.
I think he'll go quick, and like the last 10 seconds of the song, he'll
Hmm.
make like 30 seconds long. So I'm banking on the quick pace to get us to that point.
I got you.
We'll
I got you. What do we think Kendrick's opening with?
Ooh, damn.
That's not a bad one.
Yeah, I think you kind of.
I'm trying to think. That's the song you think he's starting with?
That is it.
Yeah, I don't think he's starting with Not Like Us. That's going to be later. I feel like he's going to end with that just because.
If Kendrick won 4 Grammys because he's a hater. That's
I know I
impressive.
love that, and you want to get mad at me.
Yeah, yeah, I do because you're a hater for a different reason.
I wish he could do backseat freestyle to start out with it. I'm going to go Humble on this actually.
Humble? Okay.
I'm gonna lock in Humble.
All right.
Yeah, I'm kind of going back and forth there.
Yeah, I mean, I'll never. I'm definitely not salty that he won 4 Grammys for being a
No,
hater, but they didn't give him one for Good Kid, Mad City. Just okay,
that's true.
which is
Yeah,
probably my favorite rap album of all time. But whatever, I
that's true.
digress. All
Yeah,
right, what are some other random props for us, if any? I know there's like the 3 more popular ones.
I'm trying to think. We can Super Bowl MVP.
Saquon.
You're going Saquon in a
I mean,
loss?
I'm not gonna go the chop answer of Mahomes because
I wasn't going to do that either. I mean, that's probably the right answer, but not where I was going to go, honestly.
where are you going?
So you're taking Saquon, even though you think they're going to lose?
I don't think they're gonna lose, but I
Oh,
don't
you
really have
don't
an
think they're going to
opinion.
lose?
I don't have an
Okay,
opinion really. I'm just hoping that the Eagles win and Saquon gets MVP. That's like best case scenario in my head. Everyone around me is happy.
that's fair. That's fair.
So I'm playing in this instance best case scenario. I'm
That's
not I'm
fair.
not using my analytical mind and what is probable. I'm using my this is what I want to happen.
That's fair. I'm between one of the receivers, honestly.
Receivers for Kansas City. Yeah, I mean, if I'm going anybody not Mahomes for Kansas City, it's Kelsey.
Yeah, no, my
It's
thought
not.
process is
It's not going to be
okay,
D
if
Hop. It's not going to be Worthy. It's not going to be Hollywood.
I
It's not.
was I'm between Hollywood and Worthy.
No, no. At that point, you're just going to give it to Mahomes. If one of them has a good game, that means Mahomes had a
Yeah,
good game.
but no, I understand that, but what I'm saying is it like we were just talking about how Hollywood Brown has opened up their passing game, and if he ends up being the guy, okay, if he's got 10 catches, he ends up being his go-to guy in that, and we get a close game, and he's like, if he puts up a Santonio Holmes line, 9 for
So,
131 or whatever it was.
but he has to. So this is it. When a wide receiver wins MVP of the Super Bowl, they make an unbelievable play. So like Holmes made the greatest catch in Super Bowl history. Julian Edelman made an insane catch to set up the Patriots to come back in that game.
No,
Hines
no,
Ward,
no, 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 no.
but still, he's still
And yeah, but he won it because of bulk,
the yeah.
because of the bulk numbers there. So like
But he
that's
still
where
made some
that's
insane
my
plays. Yeah.
nobody really did anything in that Super Bowl. That Super
No,
Bowl
the Super
sucked.
Bowl sucked. I
But
hated the Super Bowl.
for the sake of it too,
That's
like
my
no, but he was also the majority of Brady's offense.
should have gave it to a defenseman in that game. Jesus.
They should have, but that was the year that Edelman got it because Brady got it against the Falcons because he threw for like 400 yards in that
Well,
game.
it should have been James White. That's who should have had the MVP in that Super
That's fair. Regardless. And then Santonio Holmes, again, was bulk numbers. What I'm saying is if Mahomes throws for 270 and 135 of it is Hollywood Brown and he's got a
Bowl.
touchdown
Okay.
mixed in there, I think like
How many
that's
touchdowns does Mahomes throw though? He would have
if
to
he
throw
throws
3.
two.
Yeah, if he throws 2 touchdowns, they're probably not winning the game. Because if you look at Kansas City's
Okay,
rushing game, it has not been good. It's been
that's fair.
okay.
I mean, Pacheco's weirdly good in the playoffs or whatever. He hasn't been the last two.
Pacheco hasn't done anything this
No,
playoffs.
he
Hasn't done
hasn't.
anything since they signed Kareem Hunt. Pacheco's been dead, and I don't think Pacheco comes back. Period. He might still be there, but he's not going to be what he was.
I'm still locking in one of the receivers. Anyway, but that's my thought process on
I'll
it.
give you. You can get.
If
You can
one of
have
them goes
all.
up, okay, if Worthy,
You can have
do
all
you
of
think
their
Worthy?
receivers. I just don't think
Well,
it's
what? Do
happening.
you want me to say the one that I think it's actually going to be, and then when the line's
Go
kind
for
of
it.
out on it, like I'm gonna bet Mahomes, obviously.
Exactly. Well, then
Yeah, but I don't want to do the chalk one.
Well, then you can have all 3 of the Kansas City receivers, and that's fine. because I don't believe any of them will get it.
Well, I didn't like the way you opened this with going, Barkley, I'm not taking the chalk one. Like, you're going to fucking throw that right in my face there. Then you put me in a bad position where, like, now I want to take a fun one. And then when I say the fun one, now I got to argue with you about it.
Well, because your fun one doesn't really make sense.
I just explained how it made sense.
Not really.
Who's the hater now?
I've always hated the Chiefs. There's nothing new here.
No, you're hating on my stuff now.
I'm just being logical. That's all. You're being logical, but it's just at the end of the day, it's not going to happen. If it's not Kelsey or
Yeah,
Mahomes,
and Barkley's not going to happen because they're not going to win the game.
why don't you go suck one?
So there we go.
Whatever. Do you got any more of these bad boys?
I don't even know anymore. Give me a minute. They do have a fun Triple Crown section on DraftKings right now. I will say that. It's like you're betting the game leaders in passing yards, receiving yards, rushing yards.
All right. Let's do that, and then we'll get out of here.
And I was looking at either Mahomes, Devontae, Saquon, or Mahomes, Marquise. There were three that I was looking at: Mahomes, Devontae, Saquon, Mahomes, Worthy, Saquon, or Mahomes, Brown, Saquon, Marquise Brown. Sorry, not AJ Brown. And Mahomes, Worthy, Saquon is plus 800.
I wouldn't touch that. That's a loss.
Mahomes, Devontae, Saquon is plus 1,200. And then
touched that
Mahomes,
before.
Marquise, and Saquon is plus 1,600.
I'd probably go Devontae.
The Mahomes, Devontae, Saquon one I do like a lot. My thing with Worthy is, again, in this game, is like, going back to the MVP thing. Now you're fucking making me think too much about this. That's the one thing that the Eagles have struggled with this year in the secondary is like fast guys that find ways to get open. Guys that
Sure.
can take the top off. Jaden Reed put up big numbers against them. Again, early on in the year, but also bad field conditions, and he was still,
Yeah.
burning them.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Like, that's like just a piece that I think could really
I
give the
think
Eagles
between-
pass defense fits.
I think between those three odds, I'd go Mahomes, Devontae, and Saquon. I think that's what I'd go with.
I
regardless
agree.
Of odds.
I agree
Yeah.
with that. I might just throw all three of them in there. Actually, let me look at this because I'm curious. Oh, wow, that's not bad either. Mahomes, Goddard, Saquon is plus 1,600 as well.
I don't like it as much because I think Goddard's gonna have a good game. I don't think he's gonna have the game.
I don't think so either, but it'd be fun. Fun to sprinkle a little bit on that one there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could honestly care less what happens in this game.
Yeah,
I'm just happy to be
I'm
there.
watching.
I'm just going to be
watching.
attached to my phone and see what kind of money I can make.
I'm gonna care less, but it's gonna be interesting to see, and I'm hopeful that the girl's gonna be happy at the end of the day.
Yeah, fair enough.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah,
All right, you got anything else?
that is it.
All right, guys, we're gonna get out of here. Enjoy your Super Bowl Sundays and be safe. All right,
Hell yeah.
peace.